Hello everyone, welcome to Nishma's Edu Launch. We have been discussing about the basics of accounting, and today we have reached the most important part of the topic. We will be discussing today ledger accounts. In my previous classes, I have explained you how to write journal entries and we have practiced one problem. So ledger, what is a ledger? It is a account, okay, it's a T-shaped account and group of accounts are known as ledger. Alright, ledger is a group of accounts and we prepare T form of account. Okay, so we record in a business organization, there is a few steps in accounting. Okay, we start a transaction with, or we record a transaction starting from its evidence or source document. You can call it as vouchers, like that. So any document that supports a transaction that serves as an evidence for transaction is known as a source document. We start our accounting procedures from source document, from verifying this source document. So after source document, we record them as journal entries, which is known as journalizing. Okay, the process of writing journal entry is known as journalizing. Then after that, we come to preparation of ledger account, which is known as posting. The process of recording transactions in accounts or ledger is known as posting. You should be familiar with both the terms journalizing and posting. Journalizing means writing journal entries and posting means you're recording the transaction in the accounts present in the books of business. Okay, so after journalizing and posting, you come to trial balance. Okay, trial balance is a statement that is prepared with the help of closing balances of ledger accounts that we will discuss in the later sessions. Okay, then after trial balance, we come to the final stage, that is preparation of financial statements. Okay, which consist of trading account, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. Okay, we will discuss each of them in the coming up sessions. For now, we will be discussing about ledger accounts. So let us quickly move on to the session. Okay, so ledger. Here I have drawn 4 major accounts. If you have watched the previous videos, you will understand. I have already discussed about assets, expenses, liabilities, and incomes. We have discussed in my second video. If you have not watched it, you can go and watch that. I'll be providing the link in my description box. Okay, so I'll just give a quick recap of what we have seen in that video. Assets have debit balance, and to increase the balance or to increase a particular item, you should give the same balance what it has. Okay, so assets has debit balance, so to increase it, you'll have to give debit balance itself. Similarly, expense also has debit balance, and in order to increase expense, you have to give debit balance itself. Then all liabilities have credit balance, and to increase your liabilities, you have to give credit balance. Incomes have again credit balance, and to increase your income, you'll have to give credit balance. Okay, now let us focus on the T-shaped account. See, it's T form. Okay, everything is T form. Okay, so here you can see in the assets, you can see that you have a balance brought down, which shows your opening balance. Okay, it shows opening balance. Opening balance and balance carried down, or you can also call it as closing balance. Closing balance. Okay, so for assets account, you can call it any asset. Okay, like cash, plant and machinery, furniture, etc. All these come under the term asset. Okay, so assets will always have opening balance on the debit side. You can see 2 columns here. I've divided it, and the left hand side column is known as debit side, and the right hand side column is known as credit side. For every account, it is same. Okay, so left hand side you have the debit side, and right hand side you have credit side. Everything it is same. Okay, so for assets, you'll have the opening balance always on the debit side. Okay, that is right, left hand side, debit side. Okay, and your closing balance will come on the credit side. Okay, credit side. Then you should always remember that. Okay, now for example, if you want to purchase an asset, let it be lantern building, plant and machinery, or anything, you're purchasing it, what will be the entry? Asset account debtor to cash. If you're purchasing it for cash, what will be the entry? Asset account debtor to cash. Okay, so which side you will record in the assets account? Okay, so if you're concentrating on the entry, you will see that the asset account is being debited, right? Debited. So you will enter the asset account, and here which is the asset is being debited there. So you will enter the asset account, debit side. You have debited the asset, so you will write enter the debit side of the asset account, and you will write what is the other aspect? To cash. You have credited the cash account. So you will write here to cash. Okay, to cash. So and you will write the amount. Okay, you will write the amount. Okay, so this is how you will post the entry. Okay, so in this side, in debit side, you will start the transaction with 2. Okay, and if you are entering any transaction the credit side, you will start off by using buy. Okay, buy. If you are selling, suppose if you are selling your asset. Okay, so what will be the entry? Cash is coming in. So cash account debtor to asset. Asset is going out. So you will credit it. So how you will write? You have credited the asset account in that entry, right? So you will go to the asset account. You have credited it. So you will go to the credit side of the account, and you will write the other aspect, which is that you have exchanged asset for cash. So you will write by cash account. Okay, by cash you will write, and you will write the amount. Okay, this is how you will post the entries in the assets account. Okay, for asset, debit means to increase. Okay, for assets, debit means to increase. So if you are increasing in the value of your asset, you will write it on the debit side, and if you are decreasing the value of asset, you will write it on the credit side. Okay, now that is about assets. Now how you will find this closing balance? I'm going to show you that. Suppose I am putting some values here. Okay, suppose you have the opening balance as 1 lakh. Okay, as 1 lakh, and you purchased additional asset of say 50,000. Okay, let me write the transaction here also. You have buy cash, and you're going to sell another 50,000, say 50,000, and you're going to total it now. Okay, so you're going to total it. Here you can see the total 1 lakh plus 50,000. You have 1,50,000 as the total. Okay, and here also you can write 1,50,000 as total. Okay, 1,50,000 as total. Now you can see this side, this debit side is greater than your credit side. So what will be the difference? Here 1,50,000, and here is only 50,000. So 1,50,000 minus 50,000, 1 lakh will be your closing balance. Okay, this is how you will balance the account. You will check the total, see which side is greater. You will write that total here, and you will find the difference between the lesser side. Okay, so for assets, always the closing balance come under this side. So you can total the debit side column, and you can write it as total. Okay, total, and you can find the difference between the debit side and the credit side. That will be your closing balance. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now let us move on to expenses. Okay, expenses are also of the nature of asset. Okay, always the closing balance will come in the credit side. Okay, closing balance will always come in the credit side. And if you have any opening balance, that will appear on the debit side. Usually you will not get such a kind of question, but if you have, you will write it on the debit side. It should come opposite. See, right? If the opening balance is coming on the debit side, then automatically closing balance will appear on the credit side, and vice versa. Both these things will not come in the same side. Okay. So for expenses again it has debit balance like assets. Okay, it has debit balance. So if you want to increase your expense, you will write it on the debit side. Suppose you're paying salary. Salary is an expense. So what will be the journal entry? Salary account debted to cash. What have you done to your salary? You have debited it, right? So you will enter the expense account. Suppose it's salary account. You will enter the salary account. You have debited your salary, right? So you will go to the debit side and you will write the other aspect. To, okay, note, to cash account. You're paying cash for salary, as salary, right? So you will write the amount here then. Okay, so to cash account. When you're writing entry on the debit side, you start with to. Okay, to. Okay, then if you want to increase it, say suppose you have paid 10,000 salary. Okay, so I'm writing to cash 10,000. Okay, expense never decreases. Expense never decreases. In case if you have some reduction or some extra amount you have received back, you will show that here. Most probably you will not get it. Okay, so expenses you have increased it, so you have written on the debit side. Again here this side is blank, you will not have any entry there. Okay, so you can directly write here I am taking this opening balance also as nil. Okay, I am taking it as nil. So you can write it directly. You can write it here. You can total this side. Debit side is only there, so you can total it. And you can write it there. And what will be the closing balance? Here 10,000, and here you don't have any balance, so you can write 10,000. Okay, 10,000 will be the closing balance. Okay. Now that is that. Now let us look at the liability side. Okay, liabilities including capital will have credit balance. Okay, so always credit balance. So it will be if it is having any opening balance, it will appear on the credit side. Okay, which balance all these accounts are having? Only in that side. Okay, if it is having a credit balance, so opening balance will appear on the credit side, and if the account is having debit balance, the opening balance will appear in the debit side. Okay, that should be kept in mind. Okay, so liabilities are having credit balance, so I have written the opening balance on the credit side. If you have any like capital accounts, capital account will have opening balance. So such accounts we will write it on the credit side. Your creditors account, creditors is also a liability. So creditors will also have opening balance on the credit side. So you can write opening balance here, and automatically the closing balance appear on the debit side of the account. Okay, so if I am writing suppose you have liability opening balance of say 50,000, and you are going to introduce an additional capital again. Okay, additional capital, which is your liability. Okay, so what will be the journal entry? Cash account debtor to capital. Okay, so suppose this is a capital account, and what you have done to in that journal entry, you have credited the capital account with the amount of cash, right? So what will you write? By. When you're writing on the credit side, you will write by. Okay, by. How will you write? By cash account. Okay, by cash account. For the journal entry, cash account debtor to capital. Okay, by cash. How much you have brought in? Suppose you have brought in 30,000. Suppose you have brought in 30,000. So you will write by cash 30,000. Okay, and here for the time being I am not considering any other entries here. We will discuss that in the problem. Okay, so now there is no other balance here, so I can directly close it. So 50,000 plus 30,000, you have total of 80,000. 80,000, you can write it here also, 80,000. Since this column is nil. Okay, so then what will be the closing balance? This itself. Both the credit side and debit side should tally. Okay, both should be equal. So that's why. So what will be the balance? 80,000. Okay, this is how you will balance the liabilities account. Now coming to income account, income, or you can call it revenue. Okay, all revenues and incomes will have which balance? Credit balance. Okay, so if you're having any brought down, you will write it on the credit side. Most probably you will not get it. Okay, all the balance closing balance appearing in income and expenses account will be transferred to trial balance. Okay, so they will not be having an opening balance in the year beginning. Okay, so you will write it there. And if you are having an income, again if you have an income, suppose you are receiving commission, so what will be the entry? Cash account debtor to commission received. Okay, commission received account, you have been credited, you have credited that account, so you will enter the credit side of that particular incomes account and you will write the other aspect. Okay, so you will write by cash account. Okay, how much you are receiving the commission, you can write there. Suppose you are receiving the amount 5,000. Okay, so you will write 5,000 there. Income also increases, it do not decrease. Okay, so if it is decreasing, you'll have to pass a reverse entry. Most probably you will not get a case like that. Okay, so I am leaving this debit side nil. Okay, so you have increased income, so you will write it here. Then if nothing is present on the debit side, you can directly close the account. You can write it 5,000 here, 5,000 here in both the columns. Then you can write the closing balance. Closing balance will be 5,000. Okay. Okay, now I will tell you once again, here income side, if you want to increase you will credit it. Okay, credit it. If you want to decrease your income, you will subtract it. Okay, you will write it on the debit side. Okay, you will write it on the debit side. Now on the liabilities, so you have credit side. If you want to increase, you can write the entries on the credit side, and if you want to decrease your liabilities, you will write it on the debit side. Okay, similarly in expenses to increase it, you will write it on the debit side, and if you want to decrease your expense, what will you do? You will write it on the credit side. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful to all of you. If you like my video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. We will be discussing a problem in the next session. Thank you.